Hello, everyone. So, this is it. Oh my goodness. I do feel like it's just been some time since I recorded. I know it's been a ride for me personally, um, but all in good spirits because what comes in the dark will actually come to the light. So, it's all worth it in the end. Despite how painful or how challenging things could be, I'm just grateful I get to come on here, speak my mind, speak my heart, speak through my soul, and just give you downloads whenever I can. Honestly, I'm trying to be more consistent with it. But yeah, I gotta take care of myself and ridding the guilt of not doing enough, so called, is something that I've been looking at because doing this is fun. Doing this is to be of service, and doing this is to feel the joy. So I genuinely do feel like people are going to benefit from what I have to say because it does all come from, just the spirit that I am. And I'm just grateful to do what I do. I'm grateful to do what I do. I'm grateful to wake up every morning and to see how I can be of service, what I can learn, what I can undo within myself, what I can discover about myself, what I can help others discover about themselves, and how I can be creative. That's the whole point of me being here. So, without further ado, I do want to dive into this because we are in the Scorpio for the moon, full moon to be exact in Scorpio. And we've been in this deep dive in Scorpio energy for a few days now because it started on the 12th and it's about to wrap up. So I wanted to give my time and space to myself so I can, just relax, but also allow myself to be chaotic a little bit because we need that a little. And when I tell you this has been a fucking ride, it definitely has been. And for me, giving my energy and space to myself so that I can refuel, undo, unpack, fucking just look behind every rock in every corner as much as possible, that has been a service to me because I can't really give if I'm not looking at myself. I can't really be generous if I'm not catering to my own nervous system. So that's why I had to start off the podcast saying that as a reminder to my soul, like, it's okay to rest and it's genuinely okay to take time for yourself. Don't even try to meet everybody's expectations because that's not even possible. So with that, understanding that we are in a moon for Scorpio energy, we need that shit. Like, we definitely need to look at that as a blessing. I know it's been daunting for some people, but instead of us looking at it as a very daunting thing, maybe we can look at it with a lens of, wow, I could use this right now. And even if it's going to feel challenging and painful and we're crying every other hour or whatever, this is all to release. This is all to unpack and undo and be real with ourselves. As we should. So for me personally, listen, I cried like a fucking baby and I am crying every few hours or so. But definitely on the 12th, that's when the tears were flowing. That's when I had to have like a screaming moment in my pillow. Like, I definitely needed to undo some things and release some things that have been trying to block my system because too much shit was happening and it was overloading to the point where I was basically exploding. I'm not ashamed to say that I've had so many jobs in the last year. Come tax season, yeah, I look back and I'm like, God damn, I definitely had to pay someone to do my taxes for me because I wasn't about to do that shit. And a lot of people might look at that and frown upon it and be like, wow, like you can't hold down a job. Really? You got to leave every other job. Like, why can't you just stay and bear the burdens like we all have to do? We all got bills. Fuck that shit. I said what I said. Fuck it. Because at the end of the day, it's what my happiness wants. I can't be fully happy if I'm staying in something or doing something that I genuinely don't enjoy. I can't fake it. I can try to fake it, but ultimately it's just going to create an energy in me that doesn't serve me anything good. So I might as well be real about it. I kid you not, I had over 10 jobs. I had like 20 something jobs, I think, within the past year or so. I look back at my tax forms, I was like, God damn, I really was not trying to settle for less, and that's good. And I used to look at my high standards as something like, oh, I'm just trying to be a perfectionist or whatever. But honestly, though, there's nothing wrong with wanting to master my perfection. I think there's a difference between being a perfectionist versus mastering my perfection. And with that, like, I'm just applying that mindset to everything. I'm applying that energy to everything, anybody, any space that I'm in, because I don't deserve to be in a space that's cruel and nasty. But I can definitely go into a room and go into an atmosphere that has darkness and just shine my light and see who's receptive. And if people aren't receptive and they just make things more difficult and they don't want to look at themselves, look at their shadow, I can't make them. All I can do is shine a light and be as joyous as possible and genuinely, have fun with it and just go through the process for myself, but also to see how I can be a light to others. And even if it's just through some cracks, it's still worth it. Knowing when to say bye, though, that has been my moment of reflection. Just learning how to say bye and when to say bye, instead of getting hella disappointed or expecting a certain outcome or judging somebody, ridiculing, what they ought to know or what they ought to do. I'm seeing there's a certain way to go about leaving. I'm seeing that there's a certain way going about giving feedback, not just to myself, but to other people. And when I tell you this shit opened up my eyes, it definitely did. Because I had to look at how I'm treating myself, and I had to look at how I'm treating other people. Like, I don't want to covertly, subtly diss somebody. I don't want to, do these things and be hard on them and say, well, how could you not know? So me looking at that within myself and seeing how I can talk sometimes, how I may come off, how things could land. In a lot of cases, it is coming from a good intention, and I mean well, and I'm saying things in a very just and direct, kind way. But in other times, I have to be real myself. There have been moments where I will be passive aggressive as hell, or just not wanting to rock the boat, but still kind of rocking it, not really staying in my square because I want to people please somebody. And then getting bent out of shape from that because I wasn't truly, genuinely being authentically myself. So being mad at myself for not just saying it how it is, like fucking how Bernie Mac would say it, saying it like it T.I. is. Like, you can't sugarcoat for the sake of seeing how someone will still fuck with you or not. It's good to be direct, but be kind. So that's something I had to look at. That's something that I had to look at within myself. Like, am I still being passive aggressive? Am I, being not so direct because for the sake of pleasing somebody else? Yeah, that was happening sometimes. And I had to catch myself, and that's what Scorpio is showing me. Scorpio full moon is showing me It's okay to be direct. It's okay to cut ties with people. It's okay to close the door but keep it cracked. It's okay to tell someone what they need to hear about themselves, as long as you feel in your heart that there's compassion. Do it when you feel compassionate. And sometimes you just gotta say shit because you just gotta say it. And even if it didn't come out completely loving or compassionate or sympathetic or whatever, you can still get the point across. Because if someone's bullying you, or if someone's being rude as hell, or if someone's trying to poke at you and push your buttons, of course, at some point in time, it might feel like you have to say something to them so that they can see you're not going to tolerate that. And that's fine. You can still be direct, blunt, without trying to fight somebody, you know? So that's something I had to see, because I have hella Libra in my chart. And depending on what the hell, like what chart I use, like I've been using the Chani app and I love it. But before that, I was using other apps, other vehicles, and, you know, it would say different things about my chart. And I think because it was a modern, these other programs were more of a modern astrology way of doing things, it had different placements for me. But when I do the Chani app, which I actually love because she uses traditional astrology, and I think she combines a lot of different cultural aspects to it, I trust that a lot. I trust that more because it just feels authentic in that way. It feels like the original. So with that, you know, I do have, like, not to say I'm not open to any other program, but when it comes to how I feel about myself, I definitely have Libra in my chart. And according to the Chani app, I do have a lot of all of my Libra in my first house. And if y'all know anything about Libra, I have about 5 placements. It's all about balance and justice and literally wanting to be everybody's friend, but obviously learning boundaries with that shit. And I'm genuinely at a point in my life where I'm learning how to set boundaries and not feel bad for them, and not worrying about how someone may look at me just because I set that boundary. And as I do that for myself, I see why other people have those boundaries as well. But I'm also learning the difference between a healthy boundary and a not so healthy boundary, a boundary coming from an ego, or a boundary coming from like a real healthy space. And as I check myself in that area, I'm able to check other people. And that's been so rewarding for me because it was necessary. I'm not trying to limit myself and act like there's nothing to work on. With grace, there is stuff to look at. There are things to reveal within myself. I had to look at my belief systems, and these last few days, like, kid you not, crying every few hours and getting emotional and purging and, you know, releasing and detoxing, but then also eating sweets and, you know, being tempted to use these other modalities to numb myself or to, you know, distract myself and escape. It was definitely a fucking ride. It's still a ride. We're in this together. It's a whole few days of this, right? It's a long ass time. I know it's necessary, but for me, I had to look at it as a challenge worth going through, and God knows what God is doing. And God is within me. And this is all worth it because I get to help other people in the end of all of this. And I get to be creative. I get to go on my podcast and share these outdated belief systems, these false belief systems I have about myself. And I want to let you in on what some of those were. I wrote a list. I'm going to let you in on a couple of them. So the first one I want to reveal to y'all is not feeling smart enough, not feeling like a brilliant person, a brilliant woman, not feeling like I'm a genius, sleeping on my spiritual skills, my spiritual divinity, sleeping on my creativity. All of that encompasses like brilliance and genius and divinity. My belief system was basically, I didn't believe in myself. I couldn't bet on myself. I didn't know how smart I am. I didn't know how gifted and I am that I am in my spiritual gifts. I didn't know how gifted I am spiritually. And I was hesitant to come out as psychic. I was hesitant to come out as clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, because of how I grew up, because of the backlash I might get from other people, because I was around a lot of people who were on a spiritual journey, who were teaching me some things, were seeing me but not really seeing me, who were seeing me but belittling the gifts and the skill sets that we are divinely given and saying, well, that's your gift, but that's not my gift. We all have that gift, but it's how you exercise it that makes the difference. I'm not going to lie to you. Like the same people who taught me certain things, who gave me certifications, people who were in my corner seeing me in one light, but also were limiting me in another light, like unknowingly speaking lack and trying to curse me with their words because they're just so used to operating a certain way that they don't realize how much they're trying to like defend the lack. And they think that's what it means to be real. No, being real means understanding the hurdles we go through. Being real is understanding all of the challenges we face as a human race, but also understanding that light will always win. That's being real. So when we say that out loud and we're able to see our shadows, like we have no choice but to understand. Well, we do have a choice. We can do whatever the fuck we want. But I think it needs to get to a point where if you truly want to ascend and you truly want to be of service, stop trying to defend the darkness in a way where, you know, it's like the end all be all. It's making an excuse for your behavior. Listen, I've been called a nigga. I've been called a bitch. I've been called all types of things. I've been called dumb. I've been called stupid. I've been called everything in the book where people are trying to belittle me, put me down, see me crumble and shy away. And I can either do one of two things. I can let it eat at me to the point where I believe in what they're telling me and embody that. Or I can feel the feeling for a moment and then let it fucking roll off my shoulder. Because not everything is meant to make you feel like you're about to feel destroyed. Like you might feel like you're about to get destroyed. And that's a human experience. But at the same time, you don't have to let it eat at you to the point where you have to redo and rehash all these things in your mind of what someone did or what someone said to you. You don't always have to do that. It's better to be present and to learn how to get through the darkness. I feel like a lot of spiritual leaders, a lot of spiritual people, a lot of people who are trying to teach a class, you know, these days, they're learning how to not speak in lack. And that's something I had to understand too, is to not judge the person who is also speaking in lack. Because if I'm judging the person who's speaking in lack, then I'm also speaking in lack. And how ironic is that? That doesn't make any sense. I'm demonstrating the very thing I don't want someone else to demonstrate. Why would I judge somebody who, even in my mind, why would I judge somebody who is still on their spiritual journey? Now, I'm not saying that we can't make mistakes. We should all look forward to making mistakes. But at some point in time, we do need to, you know, be more accountable for our actions and undo some things, which is very possible. That's not not being realistic. It's very realistic to learn how to cut the bullshit. And I truly do believe that that's what Scorpio full moon is trying to teach us. It's reminding us in a loving way, death and rebirth are our friends. And that's honestly the title of this episode. Death and rebirth are our friends. A lot of people shy away from death, but they're all for the rebirth. But you can't have rebirth without death. And a lot of people think the death is like, oh my God, it's just darkness and I don't want to fuck with it. Darkness is not my brother or my sister. Darkness is another thing. And that's not true. Because when you try to hide from the darkness, you're hiding from yourself. I'm not saying you're going to do every single thing that darkness has done. No, but you have visions and you have dreams and you have invalid thoughts and you have moments of mistakes and you have a history and you have past lives and you weren't ever perfect. Like, you've done things that were sour. You've done things that were not appropriate. You've said things that were foul. And when you recognize that darkness within yourself, you can learn how to tame it and you can learn how to transcend it. And then you go to the next load of darkness that you need to discover about yourself. You're never done digging out the darkness. Especially if you had like mad lifetimes. There's always going to be something to reveal. Embrace it. Love all of you. So to me, darkness is just a form of light in disguise. And my role here, my job is to tap into that light that the darkness doesn't want me to see. Tap into the love within the darkness that the darkness doesn't want me to see. So that's why I'm so bold, and I'm bold enough to say darkness is my brother and sister. That doesn't mean that I will do the things that darkness wants me to do, because I won't. But I've done some things. I've been abusive, verbally, physically. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've hurt people, so to sit here and act like I've never done anything, that's just me running from darkness and being fake about it. So when I look at my shadow, I'm genuine, like I am my shadow. And I'm my shadow because my shadow is just a vehicle. When I move my arm, my hand across a wall, and I see the shadowy figure, the dark figure, reflecting back to me my very movements that my hand is making, right? That's what I mean when I say I am my shadow. I am my shadow, but I'm not the things that darkness tries to have me do. And the only way that I will even fall for my ego or fall for the dark energy is if I'm not protecting my energy, if I'm not taking accountability for my low moments. That's how you perpetuate the very thing that you don't want, is when you don't take accountability and when you hide from shit and you're fearing darkness. And then you wonder why you keep making the same mistake over and over again, because you're not at peace with what you've done already. So for me, that was a big eye opener, because making peace with my mistakes, understanding that I've been abusive, understanding that I've been neglectful, understanding that I've been verbally a perpetrator, understanding that I've been, violent. I've done things I'm not proud of. I've been a scam artist. I've lied to people. I've hurt people. I've done things out of ego, so the negative lower side of the ego. And so understanding that has opened my eyes. I genuinely forgive myself, and I'm open to forgiving myself fully. If there's some residue that tries to linger of like, haha, yeah, you did this and you don't deserve the best because look at what you did. You deserve to suffer and to be punished. Okay, well, if there's residue, I'm going to investigate that, give myself grace. And every time something tries to come into the mind to taunt me, all I'm going to do is just be like, all right, you may have meant it for evil, but God's going to use that and flip it on its head, and I'm going to squeeze out any ounce of light I can from this. Fuck what I've done. I've already taken accountability for it. I've already said my sorries. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, let me start living. Let me get this money. Let me get this bag. Let me do what makes me feel good and joyous. Let me be generous and give back. Let me be creative. Let me enjoy nature, because that's what my inner child deserves, regardless. You got serial killers out here. You got people in jail out here. You got people doing the most heinous crimes out here. So who am I to say that they don't deserve to have life, or they don't deserve to have a second chance at life? They don't deserve to learn and unlearn and get counseling, you know? And I genuinely believe that darkness will serve its purpose, even if darkness feels like it's going to win. It's not. But if we're conscious, we can squeeze out any ounce of light we can from any dark situation. The other side of a challenging situation is bliss. It's bliss. So why are we so hesitant to face our shadows, or to look at our shadows as like a vehicle of, like it's a superhero to help us see what's hidden? Why are we so hesitant to see the shadow, that it's doing its job to reveal what's hidden? In my eyes, that's a superhero. In my eyes, that's a necessity. I don't ever look at my shadow and think, oh my God, there's no point in having that. There's no point in having my shadow. No, I need my shadow. My shadow reveals what is hidden. I didn't always like facing my shadow though, but I knew it was necessary. Similarly, as to why I look at God and I'm like, okay, God, you have plans for me. I'm not always in love with the plans you have for me. I'm not always in love with what I go through, but I know it's necessary. So I really don't look at it as anything much different. My shadow didn't create me, but God created me. I genuinely do see that my shadow is more of a, it's something that shouldn't be feared, but because of religion and because of the Matrix and because of scary movies and because of people thinking the shadow is like a demon entity, I think because of that, people get confused and they don't realize they're confused, because they'll think, well, if I embrace my shadow, then that just means that I'm condoning or tolerating the things that darkness wants me to do. Well, darkness is not necessarily your shadow. The shadow just reveals the dark thoughts you have sometimes, the belief system you have about yourself. So it's best to look at the hidden parts of your belief system and debunk them and understand that you're not the thoughts. The shadow is just a vehicle to reveal. The shadow is not the actual things that are in your mind. That's different. But if you do believe that your shadow is darkness that wants you to do evil things, then that's just another belief system, and your shadow will reveal that too to you, to help you understand that the shadow is not here to cause doom and destruction onto you. The shadow is genuinely here to reveal things that you think about yourself or about other people that you don't want to face because you think other things and people are so other than you, when they're not. We're all connected consciously. And it doesn't mean that someone who's not as conscious as you isn't connected to you. They are connected to you. They are connected to you because it's all still consciousness. Low vibe, high vibe. We're all still consciousness. We're all still connected to the one consciousness. So with that being said, why are we fearing the shadow? Why are we fearing the shadow when the shadow is literally here to reveal? People get tripped up on that. And I understand why. Because I used to, and that's the part of the programming. You're overly protecting yourself against nothing that's even trying to harm you. The shadow's not here to harm at all. That's like when someone tries to tell you something about yourself. And the reason why sometimes it's hard to hear something that someone has to say about you when it's genuinely coming from a place of, I want to show you your blind spots because I care about you. But you don't want to hear what they have to say because you want to overly protect yourself and be like, no, what they're saying is false and I don't care because my belief system is that everybody is out to get me and I don't trust anybody because anybody who's saying anything about me in a direct way, that is not true, that they don't mean well and I'm not them. Look at what they did in their life and who are they to tell me anything about me because look at how they've lived their life. And it's like, listen, it's not even about the messenger, it's about the message. It's about the message. And I think the more we slow down and the more we give ourselves permission to hear messages, the better off we'll be, and we won't be so wrapped up in, is that my shadow trying to tell me something? Or is my manager trying to tell me something? Is my boyfriend trying to tell me something? And who are they to tell me anything? Again, I've gotten so many beautiful messages from people, but I understand what it feels like to not know if you can trust it because of the mouth it's coming out of, or you don't know how to view that person, place, or thing. But if the message resonated or bothered you, it's worth looking at. It's really worth looking at. Even if someone didn't mean well. The message could still be looked at like, what is this revealing about my belief system? All it is a reflection of what to look at within myself. Why is this bothering me, I think I just said a lot. This download was definitely crazy. I do feel like I'm here, but I'm not here as I'm talking. I hope it does make sense. I hope it doesn't feel like it's all over the place where you can't comprehend what I'm saying. But it's just coming in hot. Okay? And as it always does, it always comes in hot. I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't want to act like this season is not a bold season, because it is. Oof. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard something about Jupiter's going into Aries very soon. Or Saturn. I think it was Saturn is in Aries. But regardless, if there's any Aries coming in, don't quote me, but if there's any Aries coming in, I just know Aries is very hot, very warrior-like, very, just in your face, and just go-getter, action-oriented, aggressive, if you want to call it that. And it has its place. So for me, being a melanated woman who's fluid, who's understanding her worth, I'm all for it. I'm all for taking action. I'm all for taming my action when necessary. I'm all for setting boundaries. I'm all for abundance. I'm all for getting out of my own way. I'm all for helping other people get out of their own way, because I'm not here to play. I'm not here to act like everything's okay if some things are not fucking okay. We're not doing this whole let's speak and lack and be okay with it because we're just being real. I'm done with that bullshit. We can still have light on the things that are bothering us and still understand that as we progress as people, as spirits, we are capable of overcoming things as we integrate our shadows, as we meet ourselves where we're at, but also push ourselves to see that light is always around and light is always within us. So it's worth progressing through. It's worth going through the challenge. It's worth telling your loved ones and strangers, things about themselves if they give you permission to. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and see that beautiful scorpion type energy and let it ride. Know when to say goodbye. Bye-bye with love. Bye-bye. I don't fuck with you anymore. Bye-bye. I have the door cracked. Bye-bye. You said bye first, but it's all good. It's all love over here. Goodbye. No more people pleasing. And I'm learning that I like to please people. No more people pleasing though. I'm learning that I'm here to master my perfection, but I'm not here to be a perfectionist. I'm learning that saying goodbye is necessary sometimes because nothing is forever. And with that, I don't know how long I've been talking. 35 minutes? I still got more to go. I still got more to go in this evolution. I still got a few more days in this week. Whether the moon's going to be in Scorpio or in something else, we're always evolving. Astrology is not the end all be all, but it definitely is helpful because it's a map of the sky. And when I look at my placement in that sky, and I'm a cosmic being just knowing how to navigate better and better every single day, why wouldn't I be my full authentic self, even if it makes somebody else uncomfortable? My belief systems that were false when it comes to my brilliance and my psychic abilities. Listen, I am psychic. I love myself. I know myself. I trust myself. My intuition is on point. I see everybody's shadow, but I'm not going to focus on people's shadow. Because focusing on people's shadows as if they're going to always do what their shadow is revealing to them. If I'm going to focus on them as if they're going to do fucked up things to me all the time and they're just always going to hurt me, if I keep a focus on that and their flaws, then that's all I'm ever going to see about them. But instead, if I change my lens and I'm like, you know what? Everyone has a shadow. Everyone's trying to understand their shadow. Everyone's trying to integrate their shadow. Everyone's learning how to love their shadow. Everyone's learning how to see the hidden truths in their belief systems, like what they feel about themselves, and they're learning how to debunk those false belief systems. The truth is that you believe something horrible about yourself, which isn't true. You just think it's true. And then you identify with it. And then you start operating in a low vibe. So if I were to keep walking a path of looking at someone's shadow and believing that what they are believing about themselves is exactly who they're going to be, and they're never going to change, then that's exactly what I'm going to get. Nasty demeanors, fight or flight demeanors, scared energy, fearful energy, controlling, manipulative energy. And I'm not for it. I don't need it. I'm all set. I'd rather see the good in somebody and amplify that and say, you know what? I see your shadow, yes, but I also see light in you. And as you integrate both of those, I know you'll find your way and you'll make it out and you'll transcend your shadow. So the more I do that for myself, the more I can do that for somebody else. And the more fruitful my atmospheres will be, because that's why we're here. And I have to understand that, especially over the last few days, because there have been moments where, people have looked at me sideways and people questioning me and trying to pull my card out and trying to deem me as this, that, and the third. And I'm wondering, crying, like, why don't people see the good in me? Well, how do I see myself? And how do I see other people? And what am I focusing on? And I get it, because a lot of times people are like, well, if I look at somebody and I just look at the good in them and I just ignore the shadow, the hidden truths about somebody or what they believe about themselves and how they're acting and behaving towards me, then that means I'm condoning them and I'm condoning the behavior. And that means I might end up being like that too. No, it just simply means put your shoes like, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes and be compassionate about it. Put your ego to the side and understand that we're all connected. We're all one. The more we do that, the more we are able to genuinely love and take someone as a part of ourselves, even if it's a stranger on the streets. It doesn't always have to be somebody in your family who's blood related. You can literally take yourself, put yourself in somebody else's shoes and be empathetic genuinely and be like, you know what? I'm gonna put my mind in somebody else's mind and try to understand what makes somebody a pedophile? What makes somebody a serial killer? What makes somebody a criminal? What makes somebody want to steal? What makes somebody want to scam? And then when you put your shoes in yourself in somebody else's shoes, you're able to see more clearly and be like, wow, that's crazy. I can understand that. I'm not going to do it. That truth is still valid. I'm not going to do that. Right? But I can't help people that I judge. And even if you don't want to be this big helper that wants to help 1,000,000 people or 1,000 people or 100 people, let's say that's not you, right? You're still a human. You incarnated in this life. So you can also just look at somebody and be like, you know, I have empathy for you and I really do hope they get help, but I don't condone what they do. And just leave it at that. Energetically, even that's enough. You don't have to become a therapist and do these one-on-one sessions. You don't have to open up a healing center and do all these things. You can just simply say with your energy and your heart and be like, you know what? And just think it. You can even just think it or say it out loud. I don't know what it takes for someone to want to be a serial killer, but if I put myself in that person's shoes, I can kind of understand probably what they went through as a kid and why they landed in this predicament, why they made these choices. I'm not going to judge them for it, but I hope they get some lessons out of this and hopefully they do change. And I pray for the victims. I really do hope that they can heal from what this other person has done to the people's families and stuff. 'Cause that's what makes you a person with a big heart, and that's what makes you a person living out a empathetic experience. Because when you are able to do it for somebody else, you can do it for yourself. And we're all here learning how to love ourselves better with boundaries and self-respect. I just said a lot. It's been over 40 minutes, but I know this download just keeps coming and flowing. Oh, and I thought I was going to stop a few minutes ago, but it just came in more. But I hope y'all can hear what I'm saying. And, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But for those who it actually resonates with, I hope you found it helpful. This is why I'm here. A lot of people don't have the means to pay for therapy. And even though I'm not a certified therapist, I am looking to be more certified in other realms. And I know I have spiritual skills that I was born with. And as I do this and bet on myself and see my brilliance, I really do hope that it helps you bet on yourself and understand the God within yourself so that you can rely on the answers within you too. I'm not the only vehicle, but you are your own vehicle. And if I can spark that within yourself so that you don't feel like you have to pay thousands of dollars to see somebody to get some healing, it's helpful to get support, but you can also rely on yourself. I say that with so much love, y'all. We're all going to get through this Scorpio moon together. We're all going to get through this season together. And I have a lot of love, compassion for every one of you. I don't know you personally, most likely, but I'm so grateful that you guys even want to tune in and listen to these episodes. I speak from my heart. I'm here to be humble, but I'm also here to show what I know and what I don't know and what I'm trying to still reveal and uncover. So thank y'all for riding with me. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourselves.